Today we're talking about urinal chess. So this has an interesting name, and I'm gonna write it out while I'm talking here. Um, so this is something that might go by different names if you talk to different people, but it's a social phenomena that I find is very prominent in our society, and it's not something that's just restricted to males. Now, it may be confusing because of the name that I'm giving it is urinal chess, that it would be restricted to a male bathroom environment. This is not necessarily true, but I will explain the situation and why it's got this name, and then we will move on to a more broad idea. So I'm just going to set up sort of a environment. So we're going to have a urinal, and it's got the pipe and the ball part, and then the flushy lever, and then um, we can probably color that in a little bit. Maybe not. We're just gonna leave it like that, and I'm going to undo that and grab this, move it. Okay, so we have one. We're going to copy this guy, and we need five of these. So we're gonna put one there, one there, one there, and one there. And that should still be on the screen. Yes, it is. Okay, so we have five urinals here. And so there's an interesting game that can be played here because what happens is that people, when they approach a row of urinals, most people don't want to go to one that is next to somebody else. That's kind of common courtesy. If there is an available toilet that is not next to somebody else, then you take that one because it's just a privacy thing. It's kind of just what people do, unless they're friends and they're trying to be weird, but it happens. So we're going to have our first person, and they will be, I'm not going to draw this in gray, I'm going to draw this in black just to keep things consistent. So we have our little stick person, and they're coming to the bathroom, and so they decide to go all the way down to the end because that makes sense. If you're coming in from this area over here, you'd want to file all the way down to the end so that it's easier for other people to come in. They don't have to walk past you and whatnot. It's a simple filing into a row. If you had rows of seats or something like that, that would make sense. So we have our first person, and we're actually going to copy this person and just keep using that. So we're gonna have a second person come in, and this person's a little bit more mischievous. So they're aware of the urinal chess phenomena, and they want to mess with the next person that's coming in. Now you'll remember that I said that you don't want to go to a urinal that is next to someone. So if this person were going with the common philosophy of moving as far down, but also staying true to the urinal chess phenomena, they would move to this location right here. And everything would be fine because a third person could come in and they could move to the fifth urinal right here. And then after that point, if for some reason these people are still going to the bathroom, there would have to be some moving into urinals that are closer to people and some slight removal of privacy. But we'll assume that if we're at a normal pace of bathroom use, you only have about three people at the urinal at a time. But with this arrangement of five urinals, we have an interesting formation where if this person is feeling a little bit more mischievous, they can stand here. And the problem with this is that now we have, if we look at the urinals that are next to somebody, this one's next to someone, this one's next to someone, and this one's next to someone. So no open urinals are uh, at least one urinal away from the next person that's using them. So if you have an odd arrangement like this, there are a lot of circumstances where you can set it up where I guess if you had seven, then you could be on the next one down at the end. And so every third urinal is in use. And if that's the case, then uh, and it's an odd number, you end up having uh, no available space. So I guess I'm not exactly certain on that. So if you had three people and this was your environment, then you'd have to go to the last one. So that would be the second one after this person. Um, so that doesn't necessarily hold true, but if we have five, then we have one and four. If we have seven, which is the next one, we'd have one, four, and seven. And then if we had nine, um, then it would get a little bit more confusing. So I'm not going to make any general statements, but this is the idea that you can make arrangements of taking urinals, and it will force people to have to come and go to the bathroom next to someone when they show up. So this has interesting implications because it's not just restricted to the urinal environment. Um, so I, I I would stand to claim that this would broaden the spectrum to chairs. If we're entering an auditorium and perhaps you have arrived early at an auditorium, but you have some friends and family that are coming along and you want to save seats for them. Now, there are ways you can do this. If you happen to have a bag with you, you could put that in a seat. And the AI has seemed to found me. We'll let that play out because it doesn't seem to know how to get around the box, but we'll keep an eye on that. I'm not sure if the money is actually going down. So, if you are in an auditorium and you're trying to save seats, let's say we had, I'm just going to draw these kind of tombstone shapes for seats and grab that and just copy it. Let me grab a smaller selection so I'm not overlapping things. And we're going to copy that. We're going to paste it and keep pasting that. So let's say you're in this auditorium and you want to save some seats. It's the same game. People don't necessarily want to sit next to someone that they don't know because they might feel like they're intruding. And a lot of times, if you have to sit next to someone, you usually want to ask them if someone is sitting there already, because that is something that happens. So a lot of times people don't want that confrontation, so they will look for an environment of chairs that doesn't have anyone next to them immediately. So if we have our same situation where we have our one person here, and we're going to, let's say you're the only person here. Well, what would be the optimal position to save these 5 seats? I would claim that this would be here. Now, in the original game that we've been playing, we've been saying that you just don't want to have someone next to you. But I would go to claim that this is not necessarily an immediate stop. So if we have a graph of the situation, so this axis is how how many chairs away you are. So this is 0 and distance in chairs. And then we're going to have another axis up here, and this is the general discomfort with sitting there. So I'm trying to think of a better word for this. It would be the negative likelihood. I'm bad at spelling. Yeah. So this is how this is the unlikeliness that someone will sit there. So we're just gonna go with discomfort. And so obviously, if we have someone that is here, then the person here would not be too comfortable. Someone wouldn't necessarily be comfortable sitting here or here. That is one chair away. So one chair, we're going to say fairly uncomfortable. So we're going to put it up here. And what happens is people are a lot they're a lot more comfortable sitting with one chair away. So if we have one other chair, we're going to put it way down here. And then if we have a third one, it's going to be way down here. And this slowly goes and approaches 0. And I would go to claim that this would also approach an asymptote in the other direction, a vertical asymptote. So this is somewhat hyperbolic, I guess. And so we can see that there is the discomfort approaches infinity as the distance approaches 0. So people tend to not want to be extremely close to someone in most situations, especially if they don't know that person. So the discomfort approaches infinity, and I would say that this is relatively close to the model that is used for magnets. So I think the model of attraction, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe the model of attraction is 1 over r squared, r being the radius or the distance from the epicenter of this. So this is the discomfort. Our our function for discomfort is 1 over r squared, where r is measured in chairs. And so if we have a 1 here, the discomfort is a 1. So this person is definitely uncomfortable. But if we have a 2 here, the discomfort is 1/4. And so this person is only a fourth as uncomfortable as the person that would be sitting immediately next to someone. Now, if this person is on the armrest between the chairs, that would be 0.5. So that would be a discomfort level of 4. So they would be 4 times as uncomfortable here than they would be here. And so this whole arrangement is very close to the model of attraction that we see in our general universe, which I felt was probable model for the actual feeling of discomfort. Now, there may be some constant k here that we have to apply, and there might be some extra terms upon here that are factored by some factor gamma, which factors in the special relativity. But assuming that the auditorium isn't accelerating, we don't really need to worry about these ones. So we're going to say that this is the general everyday formula for discomfort. And I think that it's something that can be well applied. So if you have, if you're trying to save seats and you have 2 people, then obviously we know that formation that is the best. We can just put them here and here, or you can flip this into the opposite orientation at 5 and 2, and it will get the same idea. And so what you can do is, if you're trying to save an entire row, what you can do is space people out with 2 seats in between them, and it will cause the most discomfort for everyone involved. Now, if you have an entire row's worth of people with you, then you're not really saving seats for anyone, so it's not a problem. But I think this is a very nice social idea that you can use as you are out and about trying to enter auditoriums. So that's pretty much all I wanted to talk about on that topic, and we will be moving on to the random drawing section. But I want to thank you guys if you've been watching this long, and I hope that you get some use out of this formula we've created today. So I'm going to be taking a quick break to get things set up, and then we'll be moving on to the next section.